As Paris Saint-Germain lifted the Champions League trophy, the happiest person might not have been the club president, but rather Roberto Martínez, head coach of the Portuguese national team. That's because he now has two of PSG's outstanding midfielders at his disposal, Vitinha and João Neves, two of the top three midfielders in Europe this season. But the key question is, can they replicate this form for the national team? Everyone knows how good the trio of Fabián Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves are. So what would happen if two of them teamed up with Manchester United's midfield maestro Bruno Fernandes? Several football fan pages and pundits have predicted this could be the trio to deliver success for Portugal's midfield in the upcoming Nations League final against Spain. If you find this content compelling, engaging, and informative, don't hesitate to hit subscribe. There's plenty more exciting stuff to come. There's good reason to believe in this assessment. But to properly evaluate it, we need to look at each individual. Vitinha plays like a different version of Rodri. Not because their styles are identical, but because he takes on numerous roles at once, bursting forward from deep, controlling the tempo, distributing the ball, pulling opponents out of position, and even contributing defensively. Without Vitinha, PSG simply couldn't dominate midfield battles against top teams. To be blunt, if you only watch highlights, it's hard to understand why Luis Enrique built his system around Vitinha rather than Fabián Ruiz or João Neves. But for those who truly understand the game, watching how Vitinha links up play during transition says it all. He's the starting point of every passing sequence, the vital link between defense, midfield, and attack. He's a key reason PSG won the Champions League without needing a traditional playmaker like Verratti. João Neves, meanwhile, is a different kind of beast. He doesn't stand out like Bruno Fernandes, nor dictate play like Vitinha, but he does everything quietly and efficiently: interceptions, pressing, positioning, finding space, and carrying the ball out of pressure. He does everything a coach wants from a central midfielder. More importantly, he has incredible stamina, often covering over 11 kilometers per match, accelerating in the 80th minute and still making sharp decisions under pressure. Compared to Portugal's past number 6, Neves is the most modern and versatile. He's not just a young Vitinha, but an evolved version. Bruno Fernandes performs at his best when flanked by players like Vitinha and Neves, players who do the dirty work and keep the system ticking, allowing Bruno to focus on what he does best, decision-making in the final third. However, it must be acknowledged that Bruno isn't the most safe option in a possession-based system. He always looks to shoot early, pass quickly, and make something happen, but those risks don't always pay off. If Martinez can contain Bruno in a suitable space, operating in the right half space, free in the final third, without having to drop too deep, he could be an extremely potent weapon. If deployed correctly, Portugal could have the most complete midfield in 20 years: experience, physicality, creativity, pressing, tempo control, everything is there. And if more grit is needed, Vitinha can come on to tighten things up. A luxury not even France or England can confidently claim. Looking back at Portugal's midfield history, this may be the most complete era in terms of structure and playing identity. During the Deco e managed cost in her era, the midfield was combative but focused on pressing and physicality. They could match up with the Netherlands but struggled against possession-heavy teams like France or Italy. The Moutinho de Renato Sanchez William Carvalho generation marked a step forward in terms of ball control, especially under Fernando Santos' pragmatic system with Carvalho as a solid pivot. However, creativity was lacking. Sanchez exploded at Euro 2016 but couldn't maintain consistency, while Moutinho was dependable but limited to group stage effectiveness. Returning to the current scenario, PSG found success with the trio of Vitinha, Fabián Ruiz, and Neves. So, can Bruno replace or improve on Ruiz? In the 2024-25 season, PSG built a highly effective midfield with those three, with Ruiz playing a key role in maintaining structure and balance. He frequently dropped deep to receive the ball, helped break the press, and initiated attacks. Though not flashy going forward, Ruiz was crucial in enabling Vitinha and Neves to shine. Bruno Fernandes, by contrast, is an attacking midfielder who often plays risky passes and prefers to push forward. At Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, he was tested in a deeper role to utilize his ball distribution, but that came with major defensive and positional concerns against high-pressing teams. Compared to Ruiz, Bruno offers more attacking threat but lacks the tactical discipline and consistency needed to maintain team structure. If Martinez wants to get the best out of Bruno, he must build a system that allows Bruno to express himself in the final third while relying on players like Neves to maintain the balance. A direct Ruiz for Bruno swap is simply unrealistic. Still, if used properly, Bruno could be a major game changer. Portugal and PSG may share some midfield names, but their playing styles differ. PSG focus on possession, with Vitinha as the central hub. Portugal often line up in a 4-2-3-1, giving Bruno defensive freedom and the role of unlocking a defenses in the final third. The two pivots are usually Vitinha and Ruben Neves, or in the past, Neves and Moutinho, tasked with tempo control and covering ground. Vitinha may be brilliant at club level but isn't a regular starter for the national team simply because Martinez prefers safe players who suit his tactics. At times, Portugal have shifted to a 4-3-3, with Vitinha starting alongside Bruno and Ruben Neves. But the presence of Bernardo Silva complicates things. Bernardo is irreplaceable, great in possession, smart decision-maker, excellent presser, and has strong chemistry with Cancelo, making him the irreplaceable right-side conductor. In the national team setup, the challenge isn't just tactics, it's also time and chemistry. Clubs have hundreds of training sessions to perfect pressing and passing combinations. National teams have only a few days and congested fixtures. Coaches often favor players with strong individual traits, those who can solve problems without a complex system. That's why Bruno is favored. He may not build up play like Ruiz or hold his position like Vitinha, but he can unlock deep defenses with his attacking prowess. PSG have forwards like Dembélé, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, and Du, who often drop deep to support the midfield. In contrast, Portugal's wingers like Rafael Leo stay wide and high for counter-attacks. The striker rarely drops like Dembélé, meaning Portugal's midfield receives less consistent support. Without someone as structure-minded as Ruiz, using Bruno comes with the risk of being hit on the break through the middle. Dreaming of a 2026 World Cup triumph may seem far-fetched, but when you look at the current squad, it's not an impossible dream. To make that dream reality, Portugal needs more than a strong midfield. They need a coherent tactical system, collective mentality, and that elusive element, timing. Something no one can control. It's true that Portugal's current midfield is near championship standard: Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, João Neves, Ruben Neves, Vitinha, and Bernardo Silva. They're all playing for top European clubs. But remember, Germany have strength and depth. Argentina boast Enzo, McAllister, Lo Celso. Spain have Pedri, Rodri, Ruiz. England and France are overflowing with midfield options. Talent is everywhere. The key is peaking at the right moment. National teams don't work like clubs. There's no time for perfect chemistry. So tactics must be simplified, and trust placed in individuals who can shine on their own. Portugal have many gifted players, but do they have a strong enough team structure to turn talent into trophies? Martinez has ideas, but does he have the courage to make the right calls? Will he trust Vitinha? Will he drop underperforming veterans? Those are the decisive factors. So, what now? Give up dreaming? Absolutely not. Portugal don't need to dominate every area. They just need to know when to take the initiative, when to sit deep, and have the players with the composure to put the ball in the net. That's how Argentina in 2022, France in 2018, and Italy in 2006 won it all. No team is perfect. But with desire, grit, and a group of players willing to go beyond their limits, that's enough. And when you look at João Neves, Vitinha, Bruno, Diaz, or Leo, there's still reason to believe. The question is, can they break through in time, with the 2026 World Cup less than 18 months away?